All right, I'm back because I was listening to Section 1904 today with Darren Smith and John Gennaro, and Darren Smith, who's well connected here in San Diego, was saying that Ryan Flaherty, yep, he has interviewed for the Padres manager job. I don't know if Flaherty is that fourth candidate because there's three finalists. Don't know if there's a fourth. Kevin Acey saying that there's not more than four, isn't believed to be more than four, but who knows if who that fourth guy is or if it is four or is it three. It's at least three: Niebla, Pujols, and Nick Hundley. But Ryan Flaherty interviewing for this job, not surprised. Like, this is someone that's known to be AJ Preller's guy. But for him to be the manager of the Padres, I'm not sold on Ryan Flaherty. Maybe it's because I'm just thinking about the couple of times that he talked to the media post game. To me, he just doesn't seem like the manager type. He seems like a guy that's a good bench coach, a good assistant to the manager. Just don't give him the responsibilities of being the manager, but he can help. And sometimes, like, that's just where that person fits in Major League Baseball. And Ryan Flaherty could do that for decades and could be successful at it. You know, um, I I think Jace Tingler was liked when he was with the Twins, and he was, I think, the bench coach under Rocco Baldelli. Like, some people, they're just fit to be the bench coach, and that's okay. Maybe at some point Ryan Flaherty will get a managing job. If it's AJ, this is where it's interesting. If AJ Preller's guy is Ryan Flaherty, do the Padres say, all right, but your contract's on the line? Like, this, your job's on the line here then. If it doesn't go well this year, then that's it. I don't think that would be smart for the Padres to do that because I think AJ Preller is more important than whoever this manager is. AJ's the one constructing the roster, and the roster is the one that goes and wins or doesn't win, right? And AJ Preller, he's done his job for the last however many years. He's done his job well to put this team in position on paper, which is all he can control, put this team in position on paper to go win. And the players haven't done a good enough job executing when it matters the most. Like, that's just the bottom line. Sometimes injuries have happened. Like, AJ can't control that either. Like, AJ Preller should stay here. And Darren was also saying that he's heard that AJ Preller's been telling people that he's going to get an extension. I forget if Darren, because I don't want to misquote him. So I don't know if he said he's been telling the manager candidates he's been talking to in these interviews that he's getting an extension, or if he's talking to other people around baseball or people in the building. But he's saying that he's going to get an extension. So I love hearing that, because if he's telling people that, then I would think that he's pretty confident that that's actually going to happen. I don't think he'd be lying in a situation like that. And, Eric Grupner went on Ben Woods and was confident that they were going to get an extension done, that Preller was going to be the Pobo through not just 2026, but beyond 2026. So he was optimistic there. So that was great. So all signs seem to be leading towards AJ Preller being here and leading this group for years and years. And I love that. I want AJ Preller to be here. I'm just not sold on Ryan Flaherty. Now, I've talked about Nick Hundley and how I would love to have Nick Hundley. Someone that wasn't the superstar, wasn't one of the best players of all time, and he can relate to other guys. He can relate to everyone on the roster. You could say those same things about Ryan Flaherty. Like, Ryan Flaherty's also been in the Padres clubhouse in the building more recently than Nick Hundley. Been on coaching staffs more recently than Nick. Well, Nick Hundley hasn't been. He's been with the Rangers as a special assistant there under Chris Young. So in terms of the fit there, like, Flaherty's been there. There's players that know Ryan Flaherty. Manny, I think, really likes Ryan Flaherty. Seems like AJ really likes Ryan Flaherty. I don't know what Ruben Niebla's relationship is with Ryan Flaherty. Some of the other I don't know that. But I'm just not sold on Ryan. Maybe it's because of those press conferences. Maybe it's how he looks. Maybe he just, to me, doesn't look like he commands a room as a manager. Maybe I'm putting too much stock into that, like what his day one spring training speech would be, him being out there in the middle of the room. Can I envision Ryan Flaherty doing that? Nick Hundley, maybe it's the position that he played. I think catcher does have a lot to do with it for me. Is that, yeah, former catcher who has that communication with a lot of different guys on a daily basis in that clubhouse, has the communication with the coaching staff, all that. But also, like, while I say Hundley can relate to everyone, Flaherty can too, because if you go look at his big league career, he was not a superstar. He was someone that would play multiple positions and he'd fill in wherever needed. So when it comes to that, like, that could make him a good fit there. To me, with Flaherty, it's just more of a gut thing of why I wouldn't want Flaherty to be the manager. But if Preller, if this is, and maybe it's because also the past couple managers, there's been rumblings that that wasn't really Preller's guy. Like Bob Melvin, obviously we know about the relationship at the end there. Obviously, Preller and Melvin didn't like each other. But I'm talking about at the beginning. That seemed like Preller had to hire, not had to hire Bob Melvin necessarily. If Preller was indeed the one that was out of the box and then was like, yep, I'm calling the A's and yep, I'm bringing Bob Melvin in, like, credit to him. Just credit to him in general for doing that. But my point is there with that hiring, he needed to hire an experienced guy that has won games at the big league level as a manager. He needed to. So that necessarily to me doesn't feel like, oh, that was his guy. Andy Green was his guy. Jay Stingler was his guy. And look how that worked. Andy Green's not fair because of the roster. Like, that was a non-contending team. Andy wasn't going to have a lot of success here. That's just what it was. He was there for the rebuild. That's what it was. Tingler, though, that was different. The roster was getting better. That was AJ's guy. And look how that worked out. Melvin, you had to have an experienced guy. And then Schilt, I think Dennis Lim, the Athletic, has hinted that that wasn't necessarily a AJ Preller decision. Seems like maybe he wanted Flaherty, but ownership or group, whoever above was like, no, Mike Schilt. Peter Seidler had the relationship with Mike Schilt. Obviously, Schilt was already in the organization, experienced in Major League Baseball, winning the team, obviously trying to go win a World Series. Like, no, we're not going to go with Ryan Flaherty, AJ. We're going to go with Schilt, who came off winning a lot of games with the Cardinals, by the way, before he had that time in between his two managing stints. So would the Padres allow AJ to go hire his guy? And if they do, he's on a 1-year contract. So what they could do is be like, all right, if you really want that, AJ, then we're not going to give you an extension. And we're going to give Flaherty a 1-year contract like the Angels just gave to Kurt Suzuki. And here you go. You guys are lined up. If it works, then we can extend. If it doesn't, then your job's on the line. But like I said earlier, I want AJ here. So I don't know if that's the smartest thing for the Padres to do. I don't think Ryan Flaherty is going to be the next manager. Like, let me be clear with that. It does seem like the 3 finalists, and it's only these 3 guys, Hundley, Niebla, and Pujols. But Kevin does leave that door open, Kevin Acee, yesterday, where he talks about that 4th guy. Is that 4th guy someone that has a lot of experience and it's not Ryan Flaherty, or is that 4th guy Ryan Flaherty? Don't know. Because the three guys, if we're going based on Preller has a certain thing that he's looking for, I mean, it's pretty easy to link it up. Pujols doesn't have managing experience in the big leagues. Hundley doesn't. Niebla doesn't. If you're going to still go with that same type of group, then Ryan Flaherty's in that. If you want to have another finalist be someone that's the opposite and have more experience, maybe it's a Scott Service, who I think Darren was saying that has interviewed for this. I don't think that he's going to get hired, but I'm just saying, like, who could that 4th guy be? The Bochy stuff, there hasn't been any talk about that recently. Phil Nevin, Scott Service, like I said, Brandon Hyde, he hasn't got, it was Derek Shelton that got hired by the Twins. So I think Hyde's still out there. There's the Bud Black connection that I would be interested in, as I said earlier today, with the Nick Hundley stuff. There are guys out there. I wonder who that fourth guy is. Flaherty, to me, like he could be that fourth guy, but it seems like he was AJ likes him, so he's going to talk to him. Would Flaherty come back? I don't think Flaherty would come back. Like he's already the bench coach, I think, essentially the bench coach for the Cubs under Craig Counsell. So for him to come back to the Padres to not be the manager, I don't know why he would do that unless his relationship goes in the wrong direction with Craig Counsell or has gone. And he's like, I'm not going to be there next year. I don't want to be there next year, so I'll come back to the Padres. But yeah, I think he'd come back if it was for the manager job. But I don't think he's going to get hired for the manager job. But I did want to put this out there that Flaherty has interviewed, which I'm not surprised by. I just hope he's not ultimately the hire.